Hi guys, so if you're new here, my name is Lily, and today I'm going to be talking about the 20 books I want to read in 2020. First book I'm going to talk about, I already read it, but I was supposed to make this video a few weeks ago, but I read this book, but I already wrote it in my journal, so it's colored in. But I want to film it, so let's just... That was a really weird sentence. Anyway, let's just start. So the first book is Salts of the Sea by Ernest and Pennies. I do own it. I'm going to start with the books I own. 10 books I own, 10 books I don't. But my book's upstairs on my red shelf. So, yeah. This book is set in World War II, and it is about a sinking of a ship that was 6 times deadlier than the Titanic. It is a very empowering story. I love this story. I now love Ernest Pennies. I do have to read the other book I own by her, which is on this shelf. You can't really see. This shelf. And I do really want to read The Fountains of Silence by her, but I read Salt of the Sea and I loved it. It did take me a few weeks because I just had gotten out of a reading slump, thanks to James Patterson. But I did really love this book. I loved all the characters. That ending, though, was very emotional for me. I was, trying not to cry in school whenever I was reading it. But I remember I was in school, and my friend was right next to me, and my other friend was in front of me, because we were in our group. And I was just, nearly crying. I was like, oh my god, my life's over. And then I flipped the page. I was like, okay, we're good now. Because Florian's my favorite character, if y'all didn't know, which you didn't, but... So, when something happened, I was like, what? No, my baby. So, I did like the ending. It was weird at first. I was like, what? And I'm like, oh, I get it now. Anyway, let's move on from that great book. I have 2 or 3 books by the same author. I think 2. These are just in a random order. But this book is by my favorite author, because he changed my life. I read his other series, and I started reading this one, and I just didn't get past chapter 21. And, yeah. And that is The Sword of Summer by Eric Riordan. If you have not watched my BookTube Newbie Tag, which I will link in the description below, then I did say the book that got me into reading was The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, and I haven't read this book, and I tried. I got on this sticky note, I got on chapter 21, page 136, and I was loving it, and then I just put it down because I got bored. But I know pretty much the first sentence of, what's it called? The Ship of the Dead. And it's I don't know, what is it? Something about Percy Jackson. They're in this book. These books. I mean, not a spoiler. A little spoiler for this book. But I feel like it's not, because I kind of knew it. It tells you in the first 3 chapters or something. Anyway, I mean, Magnus Chase and Annabeth Chase are related. At first, I was like, wait, Chase sounds familiar. I'm like, oh, are they related? And they are. I was like, yay. That means my babes are in it. Annabeth and Percy. Anyway, I do really hope to read this in 2020. I need to read this. And my mom did say if I read all the books on my bookshelf, then we'd get to do a binge buying thing. And I want So, I do get Book of the Month, though, so that's fun. I do want to get Cersei on that. But yeah, so, yeah, okay. The next book is a book that, I don't know if it's Jesse from Jesse the Reader. I'll link his channel description's favorite book. I'm pretty sure it is. And I'm just over here, I own it. I haven't read it. Another girl at school recommended this to me last year. I want to say last year, and I haven't read it. I bought it for that reason and haven't read it. But last time I read a book, her recommendation, the last time, I got a reading slump. James Patterson. I'm done with James Patterson. Anyway, we're not talking about James Patterson. We're talking about Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Rays. This sounds like something I would like, but I haven't read it. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the prologue's too big or what. Some creepy photos, honestly. I don't know. But I do have to read this. I'm going to read this. Like, I have this, I made a wheel. I have a thing on my phone. It's called Decision Roulette, right? Yeah. And I spin the wheel, and I have all the books on my bookshelf. And whatever book I get is what I read. I also have a Bookopoly board, which is over here, that I made. I will link Becca's original thing down below. I'll link her channel. Anyway, you'll hear more about that in February. But, yeah. Gotta read this. Okay, I'm done. The next one is a book I love. I haven't finished. I watched the movie several times. I've read 3/4 of the book. I haven't finished it. Because, like, I get other books, and I'm like, I need to read those. I'm like, no. And, like, I was like, oh, I'll just read from this part. But I, like, looked back at different scenes, and I was like, I forgot that he called her darling. I need to reread this book. And I loved it, so it's all good. But I really hope I read it soon. And that is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I love Liam. Like this says, I don't know if it... Exclusive Liam story inside. That's why I bought this edition. Pretty much. But this... I don't even say what they're about. I don't even know what they're about, so... Can't tell you that. But this is about, so in this world, it's kids, so, well, they're adults, obviously, but the kids either die from this disease, or the kids live and come out with special powers. And so Ruby has been hiding her special ability, which is in orange. There are different levels. There's green, blue, yellow, red, orange. Orange is the highest, green is the lowest. And so she pretends to be green when she's really an orange. Hence, like, all the orange on the cover. I just noticed how much orange is on that cover. And it's just, and then she meets people. And I love, what's her name? Zoo, yeah. Zoo. I love Zoo. I love Liam. I love Chubbs. That's not how you count. Whatever. So yeah, I really, really want to read this. Or reread it, technically, because I read, like, look at that bookmark. Well, I didn't read 3/4. I read, like, 3/5. But yeah. So I have to read this. Yeah, okay. The next one is a book. I got this, I don't know, the beginning of the school year in 5th grade, which is last year, and I was really liking it. And then the chicken part came. Not that you guys would know what that means. If you've read the book, you might. But wait, is it a chicken? I feel like it's a chicken. I don't know. But then the part came. And I stopped. My friend loves this book. She hasn't even read the second book yet. But she wants to. And there were 2 books. It's part of the Rick Riordan Presents. I took me forever to finish Arusha in the End of Time. But I did it. And I'm proud. I got the second one up there. And I gotta read that. But, this one is The Storm Runner by J.C. Cervantes. I do not know if I'm saying that right. But I read that much. And I loved it. I read like, oh, I passed it. 167 pages. And do I know where I am? I don't even know if I know where I am. I don't feel like rereading the beginning of this. But this is about a boy named Zane who has like a... What is it? He has a limp. That's what it's called. and he has a volcano, which he calls the Beast. And a twin-engine plane crashes into the Beast. And then this mysterious girl shows up. That's his dog, by the way. Rosie. I love Rosie. And apparently he, like... Oh my god, what does it say? This is Mayan mythology. Oh, okay. And the volcano. Wow, that's so hard to say. The volcano is a centuries-old prison for the Maya god of death, whose destiny is directly tied to Zane's. They also have a god for chocolate. Rick Riordan presents it, and he says, "I want god for chocolate in Greek." And so Zane is the son of a Mayan god. And I was so stupid. So I'm talking to my friend a year ago, and I'm like, I wonder who his dad is. And she's like, the Storm Runner. The Storm Runner. I'm like, wow, I'm stupid. I know now, but I was really stupid. But yeah, I really, really need to read this because I was loving it. She loved it. And we have similar tastes when it comes to, especially Rick Riordan Presents, when it comes to these kind of books. We have similar tastes. So, and I love Rick Riordan. Riordan. I think it's Riordan. I don't know. But I love it. So, oh, I know her. Try to read that author. Okay, I need to shut up now. The next one. My God. So if you watch, I don't know if I said it in my BookTube Newbie Tag, if you don't know, my favorite series is Gone by Michael Grant. I don't even know if I wrote that, if I put that. I don't know, but it's my favorite series of all time. And there's this series that's set 4 years after, and that follows these new characters like Shade and stuff. Shade. I think it's Shade. Yeah. And Cruz, I think. And my friend, sort of friend, read it. He read the next book in the series, and he hasn't read the next book. There's 3. I think there's only 3. It's it's a Gone novel, but anyway. And I haven't read it yet. I started to, and that's Monster by Michael Grant. I read 84 pages. I want to say, no, it's a different thing. 84, yeah. And I was just okay. I read this after I read Gone. Light. So I was I need my babies. I just finished Light, and I was crying, You read it, you know what I mean. So I'm just what is happening? Who are these characters? I don't care. I want my babies. So I was very mad. And I didn't realize that my babies are still in it. Sort of. Well, Decca's in it. I think that's how you pronounce your name. So, I was sort of enjoying it. So I think I do have to reread it. Maybe I'll have a new appreciation for it. But I remember that I stopped reading this on my grandmother's couch at her house. I was okay, I need my babies. And I only got Decca a few times, and it was really interesting. And then I flipped to the next Decca chapter. And it's on page 125. And I'm no, I am not waiting that long. So I just gave up on the book. But this is the year I actually read it. My mom is going to read it too. She read the series. I made her read it, and she loved it. So I'm going to read it now. Yeah. This next book. I read the first book in the series. I love the movie. If I say this character's name, you're going to know who I'm talking about. But I love Kinnick, man. I love him. He's hot in the movie. Anyway. I read 62 pages of the book, and I love it so far. I just haven't picked up the rest of the book. I'm at a part that makes me cry. I was oh, what part am I at? And then I started reading it, and I was okay, back to the page I'm on. I can't read that again. And that is Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. You probably already knew that, but I read The Hunger Games. It was one of like the first books I read once I was over my Rick Riordan phase. So, yeah, I loved The Hunger Games, and then I read Divergent, and Insurgent, and Divergent again, and Allegiant, and 4. Specifically in that order. I didn't have Allegiant, so I just read Divergent again, like. Anyway, I was, like, bored, and then I watched the movie a few months ago, and I was like, yes, I love the movie. So I was like, okay, I need to read this, and then I'm on page, I started reading it one day, and I just stopped. I was like, no, I'm in the middle of another book right now. But I'm on page 64, and I love it so far, so I need to continue with it. And I do know what happens to Prim, because BookTube, I don't know who spoiled for me. I know Jesse the reader spoiled something for me, but it wasn't Jesse. I don't know. I know Jesse did spoil something for me, but I don't really care. Because, I don't care. This video is going to be really long. It's already like 16 minutes. Jesus, I don't shut up. Anyway, the next book is The Devouring Grey by Kristen Lynn Herman. This is like, so on the front it says, for fans of, okay, I'm going to read that. Fans of Raven Boys and Stranger Things, read yours. This is your new obsession. My life, besides books, is Stranger Things. I have 4 posters, like 11 shirts, 2 sweatshirts, I don't know, 2 books in that shelf down there, a bunch of stickers, 2 Funko Pops, which one's right there actually, and one's up there. Steve. I was Robin for Halloween. I have like 3 bookmarks. I have a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'm obsessed, and I read the premise of this, and I was like, yes. And then I started the book, and I just got bored. I did like the first sentence, though. I just realized that. That's amazing. It is. After they found the 3rd body that year, Justin Hawthorne knelt in his backyard and prepared to near his future. So I'm very excited to read this, and I'm like making myself read it this year because I'm like, I've been putting it off too long now. Read it. I'm going to try to speed through the rest of these. I have one more book that I own. And this book is like, I'm glad it was on the bottom. This is also by Rick Riordan. I read the first book in this series. Adored it. Was offended. Adored it though. Second book, I hated the second book. Third book, I was like, no. Okay, I can't really do this. And I don't like 2 of the characters who are in this. But I was like, oh, maybe I'll read Blood of a Lumpskin. Maybe I'll like them again. Then I'm thinking, like, I do love them. I love one of them. He's adorable. And the other one, I mean, I just don't like her because of her mom, but. And I read, like, a few, like, 30 pages of it, and I loved it. And I love Grover. I mean, it's not a spoiler. Grover's in, like, every book by Rick Riordan. Anyway, that is The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan. Realizing it now, I do like Jason and Piper, but I didn't like Jason and Piper for a while. That didn't help me not wanting to read it. But I did not like The Dark Prophecy at all. I do love Meg, though. First book, I was offended. Didn't he say, like, potato sack or something? Didn't Apollo say that we're, like, a bunch of potato sacks or something like that? He said a bunch of offending things. I tried to read the beginning of it so many times, and I was like, okay, continue. And I actually continued with it at camp one day, and I was like, and then I lost the book. Like, this isn't the copy. I lost the book, and then I found it. It was in a bag, and then I found it in this thing, and I found the bag first. It's like, where's the book? What kind of person would take a book out of a bag and not put it back in the bag? So I found it on the floor of that, not the floor, I found it in the bin, and it was destroyed. My mom didn't think it was, but I thought it was, because it was ugly. I don't even know if I still have it. It's upstairs. So I got this copy, and it looks so cute compared to it. Like, it's so tiny and square, and just, like, this one. And this one. Like, this one's squared. That one's not. But, yeah. I love this one. It's a copy. And I need to read it. I'm just going to look over here. Yeah. In my journal. Oh, yeah. Here's some stickers. Okay, so a book I don't own is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. It intimidates me. This next one is a book that I need to read. I read the first 2 books in the series. That's City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. Next one is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. And then a big book, The Diviners by Libra Bray. I look at this one, and I just abbreviated it, so I'm like, what is it? And I'm like, I know what it is. It's ACOTAR. If you don't know what that stands for, it's A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Oh, wait, I missed one. I missed a book in the books I own. Did I not take it off the shelf? I did. Where'd it go? It's not on here. Well, I lost the book. I'll talk about it last then. An Ember in the Ashes by Sabbath Tahir. Scythe by Neil Schusterman. Might not read that, but I do want to. Everything, Everything by Nicola Yoon. Lovely War by Julie Berry. And Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Okay, where's that book? Oh, it's right behind me. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Everyone is trash for this series, and I want to know why. Like, she looks like Elsa on the back of this. I love Elsa. She didn't know that. I love her. Yeah, I ain't ashamed of it. But I need to read this book. I mean, she's an assassin, and I love assassins, I guess. I don't know. This sounds something like I would like, and I really think I need to try. I'm going to, obviously. But I just need to read this. Okay. Thank you guys for watching, and if you have any video requests or suggestions you want me to do, tell me in the comments below, because I'm kind of out of ideas of what to do right now. So if you do have any suggestions for me, please tell me in the comments below. That'd be super, super helpful. And thank you guys for the nice comments on my first video. And I will be doing this my reading journal. So I will be flipping through this and showing you guys this probably sometime in February. I don't know. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Sorry it was so long. Bye.